Hi Virgo, welcome to your April reading. Today, we're going to talk about the past, but not in the way that you think. In April, the past leaves you behind. It's not chasing you. It's not calling you. It's not texting you from different numbers. It's just gone. And what you realize is that in the absence of it chasing you, in the absence produced by once so much effort, maybe you were chasing it. Maybe this entire time that you've been running, you weren't running away at all. Maybe you've been running right towards something that now you realize is not there. Doesn't matter who runs, doesn't matter who hides. There's no more hide and seek. There's only you. So, one of the ways that things bring their focus back to you, something surprising, something alarming, something sudden happens. Doesn't have to be bad. It happens and it radically shifts your focus back to you. The only reason this surprise, this tower moment is possible is because there is something that you've been missing in your scan of your environment. Something that perhaps went unnoticed because it's something that you actively ignore. So it grew. And now we're here. And on the 12th, some revelation, some secret, something you've been avoiding, wanting to know or understand, boom, on the 12th, there it is, and it's out. The past makes sense, your role in the past makes sense, whatever inability on both ends there was to let go makes sense. And it's jarring, so the 12th is something you absolutely should prepare yourself for. We're not always keen to see what we've been ignoring. Ironically, what we've been ignoring, we know exactly what we're ignoring is. Because we're ignoring it. We need to keep tabs on it. So, you have this moment of revelation. Exhibited here is the tower. And the Empress can help you. You know, the Empress says everybody is responsible for their own karma. What you sow, you will reap, right? It's like, hey, no need to be too surprised. This is what we were putting in. This is the constant energy that the construct was getting from you. Now this secret, this revelation, this aha moment about your past, it can prompt several reactions from you. But I wouldn't act on any of those. I would wait. I would wait until the solar eclipse in Aries, which is in the last degrees of Aries. After the 20th, that's when the solar eclipse is, your money will start to make sense again. So when these secrets, when these upheavals start to happen, first about you, then about your past, maybe about your past lovers, when all this starts to come together, you just get to a point where you're like, you know what? I want to know all the truth. I want to know what's been really going on. I want to know everything. I can take it. And on cue, Mercury goes into retrograde in Taurus the day after the solar eclipse on the 21st. And we go straight into a period of reassessing career, profession, education, and that very obvious refresh that you need. Most of you have already followed your instincts and have jumped ship from whatever you were doing. You've preempted this change. Those of you who are here for the Tower moment and you're like, wait a minute, I did not see this coming at all. You cannot deny that whatever is revealed to you from the 12th through the 21st is in some major way a surprise. You cannot say that it's a surprise. It's just that which you've sublimated to the point where you can't see it anymore, even though it's right in your face. On the 11th, Venus will move into Gemini, and you'll have a little bit of grace from all this just because it is a mutable sign, and you'll have a little room to impress, a little room to be social in the midst of all this revelation and all this restructuring. So that's nice. You like a little social moment. But at the same time, this Venus and Gemini energy is going to ask you to be a little bit cutthroat. It's going to ask you to leave behind whatever has become a burden. Venus and Gemini does not like that word. Dependent, burden, need. Wherever you're getting the ick in your life, Venus and Gemini is like, no thanks, I don't want that anymore. Thanks, bye. And since we don't want to cause too much strife, make these goodbyes as clean as you can. Make sure they're legally binding. Make sure they're contractually appropriate. Just do what you can to make sure that when you leave, when you cut ties, that it's exactly right. No one can come to you later and say, oh, I can't believe you did it that way. You shouldn't have done it that way. You should have done X, Y, and Z. No, I did exactly what I was supposed to do. So no one can catch you later, right? Now that we have all these cards, let's talk about what's really going on here. April is a month of facing the things that you conveniently lose in the dark in this cave. When you're used to hiding out, when you're used to spending most of your time with a lamp that only directs light where you want it to go, you have a lot of dark room and a lot of space. And I often think of how much you hide in that cave, in the spaces that you can't see. But then once a year, it seems like this year it's going to be because of the solar eclipse, something happens and a big bright light shines in that dark cave and everything is illuminated. Now, to those who have no experience with the cave, that sounds nice. It sounds fun. But they don't understand the nature of cave dwelling, do they? No, the way that Virgo gets by is that all of the things that you won't address, all the things you don't think you can address, all the things that you wish you didn't have to address, they all get shuffled away. Neatly, of course, but into corners where no one is ever going to look. But the solar eclipse comes along and says, hey, how are we supposed to refresh? How are we supposed to give this entire thing a facelift if I can't even see the edges of the thing? Where does it all start? Where does it end? How many skeletons are in here? How many bodies you got in here? How long were you thinking of keeping them? Now, for those of you who have a messy cave and just a bunch of stuff back there, you know, heartache and a few rejections and some sadness, maybe a few failures, you come out of this doing great. This little audit of the cave is actually very welcome. And you feel good as you leave April. Those of you who have a more like Jeepers Creepers situation going on down there, it's not so pleasant. You may find that April keeps reminding you that you should have done better, that you should have done more. And I really can't think of anything that's more painful for a Virgo than that. So if you're wondering, how do I avoid that? I don't want to feel like that all month. When these revelatory moments happen and you are privy to some embarrassing truth, let's say, you accept it. You don't fight it. You don't try to sublimate it. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hide. You bask in the bright light of this exposure. You let it make you strong. Mercury goes retrograde in Taurus, and we have this Earth synergy with your ruling planet. You will make sense of all this. And although it seems completely unrelated, it will help you with your money. Because this is a time to let go of facades, and about twice a year you need to do that. But if your entire existence depends on this facade being believed, and that's the only way you live, that's how you survive, then you can see how this is going to be an issue. By contrast, if you're the type of person who has ghosts, people you've hurt, people you've strung along, people you know still have you front and center in their minds, you have to deal with that karma right now. Even if it's as simple as the question coming up in your own mind again and again, why? Is it okay the way I've treated people? And if it is okay, it's fine. Your conscience is highly sophisticated. But if you know, it's going to be hard to get away from it. So then what? Well, once we get to facing the fears and the darkness inside you, once we use the light, then we can get to the real icky stuff of how to keep this from happening again. And we can talk about that more in the extended, but one of the things, I'll just tell you that now and we'll go into detail in the extended about it, is the allowing other people to plant seeds in your mind. I think one of the drawbacks of knowing that you're smart is that sometimes it makes you stupid. When you have like this keen awareness that you're smart, I think sometimes it makes you dumb. It leaves you open and vulnerable to a sort of manipulation that's very overt, very direct, and because of that directness, you don't have much armor against it. You don't have much of a defense against it. Planting seeds in the mind, when done overtly in a brazen way, which I know seems like a contradiction in terms, it gets right past you, because you don't ever think that someone would be serious about something like that, or if they were going to be serious, they would be a lot more subversive. But no, a person who is pretty direct with you can get away with something like, you really need me, I can really help you, you can't do this without me, and do it right to your face and have it get in there and start working on your mind. So what we're really talking about here is how easy it can be at times to manipulate you simply because your manners, your politeness, your civility leave you open to it, leave you a mark for it. So this period of revelation isn't just about that which has been hidden away in the closet and not addressed, but it's also very much about that which was put, by others into your cave that shouldn't be there and has been silently working on you and affecting you. That stuff is going to get talked about too, along with a couple of other things, including how to stop allowing this sort of manipulation and how to really assess what it's done to you. Not in a way that's morose or, belaboring what's happened, but how does one truly gauge what other people's gunk in an effort to control us has done to us? So more of an intellectual extended, but you're having an intellectual month. So don't let the hard times get to you. It's only difficult if we don't want to look it in the face and accept it for what it is. Allow the solar eclipse to bring clarity to you without this fear that you can't handle the truth. You can handle the truth, you just can't handle part of the truth. You need all of it. That's the only distinction. Okay? I love you. I'll see you in the extended right now.